What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you to think about the Wild West? Surely you're thinking of gunslinging cowboys and cowgirls riding around on horses. Well, those horses may have been brought here from Europe, but they were left to roam the lands for centuries and as such have become an iconic part of the Western states. In fact, 8 million people visit the lower Salt River every year, and many of them come to specifically see the wild horses. Yet, these horses remain a point of controversy because they're not considered indigenous to the area. As you'll know from my last speech, I'm one of those people that recreate at the Salt River, so I've kept up to date on all of the issues around this, including with the wild horses. A nonprofit organization called the Salt River Wild Horse Management Group is leading the way on how to humanely manage the herd while balancing environmental and safety issues related to the horses on the land. In this speech, I will be covering the specific issues, what the solutions are for that, and what those outcomes look like. So without further ado, let us begin. According to the state's news service, wild horse populations can increase frequently, doubling every 4 to 5 years. With constant overpopulation, that can lead to stress on the environment, for example, damage to the vegetation or causing other species to compete for resources. The second issue is that the horses cross busy roads like Bush Highway, and that causes risk of vehicle collisions. In fact, in May of 2018, that month alone had 5 accidents with horses. Costly and traumatic roundups using low-flying helicopters to capture the wild horses is one way that has been addressing the overpopulation issue. This costs us taxpayers up to $50,000 per horse. So expensive. Furthermore, these horses are frequently injured or even die in this just horrific roundup process. For those that do survive, they're then separated from the herd, forced into captivity, and auctioned off. There's no accountability for who bids on these horses, and it's quite likely that they're being slaughtered because the sanctuaries are already overwhelmed with rescues, and these horses are really difficult, if not impossible, to domesticate. Due to public outcry, 2 laws have actually been passed to prevent the horses from enduring such tragedies. Wild horse management is the most humane and effective method possible. The Salt River Wild Horse Management Group has been contracted by government agencies to do that work. To address the overpopulation issue, they have been administering birth control since 2018 with a 99% success rate. Only 1 to 2 foals are being born each year. This allows for a thriving ecological balance since the horses do spread seeds through their manure. They also install strategic fencing, which prevents the horses from roaming on lands that are currently recovering. And then to address safety issues, they have installed horse crossing signs and patrol the road. Opposition to this organization can be best represented in a lawsuit that was filed this year by the Center for Biological Diversity. They claim that the current population of horses is unsustainable. However, their numbers are wrong. They say that there's 600 horses, but the Forest Service did a flyover last year and they only accounted for 150 horses in the Salt River area. They also blame the horses for damage to the riparian areas. However, from what I could find, the biggest impacts are actually the Salt River project's water flow. So sometimes they release a lot, like in this picture. In fact, in March, they released 120,000 gallons per second. This leads to flooding, and then they can shut it down sometimes, which leads to drought. Furthermore, The 8 million visitors a year that visit the Salt River have a pretty big impact too. The last allegation they have is that these horses aren't legitimate wild horses, but rather unauthorized livestock. I couldn't find anything to support those claims, but I did find an article dated 1890 that reports finding wild horses in the area. The best solution that this organization is suggesting is either to do more roundups and removals or to stop herd management, which would lead to overpopulation. Which solution do you think is best? Let's explore the outcomes. Imagine yourself at the Salt River. You see these wild horses who are born to this land, who've lived every day wild and free. Now, imagine them violently torn away from their home and their families, forced into captivity and possible execution. Now, think about the other animals at the Salt River, the eagles soaring through the sky and the bighorn sheep roaming the hills. Now, imagine them weak and starving as they fight for that last resource. Neither of these outcomes have to come true with herd management. The choice is so simple. These horses deserve to keep calling the Salt River their home, and so many of us love to see them when we're out there too. All of the species can and do coexist with some simple human intervention. While overpopulation can disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem and endanger us, all of that can be prevented with herd management. The Salt River Wild Horse Management Group is doing precisely that. However, they're not government funded. They're actually supported by people like me and you. If you would like to support this cause, you can join the movement, like, follow, and share their social media pages. Or if it's within your means, you can donate to the website below. Together, let's keep our Wild West wild with our wild horses. Thank you.